Hello everybody, it's Anne from Anne's Stampin' Up. Welcome to another Stampin' Up card making day in Simcoe, Ontario. I'm an independent demonstrator here, and if you live in Canada and you don't have your own demonstrator, you can shop with me. You can reach me at stampsandtea@gmail.com, or my demonstrator website is stampsandtea.stampinup.net. So today we're going to make a quick card. I found it on Pinterest. The original maker, I believe, was Susan Campfield. She makes beautiful cards, and this is one of her creations, and I did case it for today's video. This card here used very vanilla and copper clay. The one we're going to make now uses Azure Afternoon and basic white. So let's get started. What did we use to make this card? Let's have a look. We used the Darling Details stamps and dies. The dies are beautiful. There's like 2 sheets of dies in this bundle, and they are on page 68 in the annual catalogue. The bundle itself, the stamps and dies, is $73.75. Beautiful bundle. These dies, border edge dies, are gorgeous, and you get all the flowers and everything. So that's the stamp and die bundle. We're also going to use the exposed brick embossing folder. This is a 3D folder. It's lovely. It's got such lovely detail on it. Also in the annual catalogue, page 168 for $15. And what else? We've got some ribbon, we've got ink pads. Oh, we're going to use the double oval punch. Now this is an older punch. It was in the catalogue last year, but it's in the catalogue still this year. Page 148, annual catalogue. It's about $30, I think. And it punches out both shapes. And we've also got some adhesive backed sequins. Now these sequins are supposed to be balmy blue, but I think they'll work quite well on with the Azure Afternoon blue. They're on page 141, annual catalogue again, $11. So everything here is in the annual catalogue. So let's tidy up and then we'll get started. We're going to emboss, first of all, the front of the card. Now because this is just going to be like a single layer card, there's not going to be another mat on top. I've used thick basic white cardstock, 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. I've got a strip of Azure Afternoon. We're going to do the flowers and the sentiment and things like the sentiment out of that. I've got a strip here of basic white, which is 5.5 by 1 inch. And that's what we're going to use to cut this piece. So you see it's about an inch, about an inch by 5.5. I'll just put that there so I can see what I'm doing. So first of all, we're going to emboss the front of the card. Now, we only want to emboss the front, we don't want to emboss both halves. So when you look at your embossing folder, it has a tiny little edge that is not embossed. So I am going to put my card in there, but I'm going to put the fold, the crease line on my card just past the end of the embossing folder, because I want to make sure the whole of the front is embossed. Okay, I don't want a little edge left where there's no embossing. And because it's a 3D embossing folder, we're only going to use plates 1 and 4 and run this through the Big Shot cut and emboss machine. I'll be right back. So here I am. There we go. And when I fold this card again, you can see that I got embossing right to the top of the front of the card. Very little, just a smidgen on the back, but that's okay. So we're good with that. So let's put that out of the way. So now I think we'll cut out the flowers and the border strip that we're going to use. Now we're going to need plates 1, 2 and 2 of the 3 plates for that, and we're going to work on the plates so that I can tape these dies down and I'll show you what we're going to use. We're going to use this long one here. Let's see if I can get it off, and I'm going to tape it so that, let me see if I turn this way I can work a little better. Can you see that? Yeah. So that the circular edge is right to the bottom of the card, and that, wait a minute, what can I put it on? Let me put it on this so you can see what I'm working on. This is going to be my border piece. Turn that over. It's going to mark on it. Right. So I'm lining this up right to the edge of the card with the curved edges right to the edge of my 1-inch strip. Now you can see the die is longer than the white piece of cardstock. When I line this up, I'm going to line it up so that this slot here and this slot here are just beyond the edges of my card, so that it will hold my ribbon in place when I thread it through. The hardest part of this card is threading the ribbon through the slots, honestly. I'll do that, and I'm going to tape it down. Tape it down again. There, and then I'll take my blue piece out of the way, and that can go on there. Now the blue piece we're going to use to cut out the flowers, and we're going to use this die here to cut out the flowers. This is a very simple card. It's got minimal pieces, and we're just going to pop that on there, and then we'll take the other number 3 plate and we'll cut these both out together, staggering the plates of course, so that the big shot has something to roll up over. It doesn't have to come up and go square, it rolls over these dies, and I'll be right back again. And the reason I've left the table is because the die, the big shot, when you use the big shot on your table, it shakes, and I don't want my video to shake too much. So there's this die back onto the card, and then this one. And let's just peel these off carefully. There we go. There we go. And we'll put this die back onto the die strip. Now, so that actually cut out very nicely. I've got almost everything cut right out. There's just a couple of little pieces to poke out that just didn't pop right through there. And this is what I meant when I said I was putting the die right to the edge, so that you've got like a little dip there and a little dip there, and you've got room there to put adhesive down and hold your ribbon in place. This as well, most of it poked out. Let's just give these little leaves, this little leaf, a little poke. Get all the little pieces off. You could use your brush attachment that goes on your handy pick tool here, but it really doesn't, you really don't need to. There's everything poked out. Now let me just get rid of these scraps so I don't get them stuck to any of that card. Right, so we've got this piece, these, the end of that. Okay, so let's see, where's the ribbon? Here's the ribbon. Got this lovely azure blue ribbon, and it's going to weave in and out of those slots. So I'm going to just cut a piece of ribbon slightly longer, I'm going to give it about 1 inch either side, so it's going to be like about 7.5 inches instead of 5.5 inches. I'm going to weave it through. Now I don't know that it really has a right side and a wrong side, but this side looks a little shinier to me, so that's what I'm going to use. I'm just going to thread it through. And this ribbon is probably It's not a half of an inch. I think it's probably 3/8 of an inch wide. You see, I'm just weaving it through like that. And honestly, this is the longest, hardest part of this card. Just weaving the ribbon through. And this is such a pretty blue. I honestly have not used this blue before. My first card, my sample, was made using copper clay, and I really liked that, but I wanted you to see how easy it is to, you know, just change the colour, you change the card. Now another reason for leaving a little bit of extra ribbon is by the time you're finished threading this through and pulling on the same edge all the time, you see it's quite frayed there. So you can cut that off. We're going to cut it off, but we're going to glue it down first of all, because I'm not sure if you can see, but when you look at this, the flowers that you've punched out, they all have blue ribbon behind them, so I wanted the two end flowers to have the blue ribbon behind as well. So let's just bring in my little grey mat here, and I'm just going to fold this back, and I'm going to use some Stampin' Seal Plus, and I'm putting that down just over the holes. I'm going to look at my little divot there, and I'm going to peel that little piece of adhesive back on itself, and then lay that down as flat as I can and as straight as I can, and I'm going to trim that. I'm going to turn this around and do the same thing. Adhesive, tuck that in, tuck that down, right there. So you see now all my flowers in the middle all have blue ribbon behind them. I'm just going to take my ribbon scissors, I'm going to use my edge of my card as my guide and cut that off, and the same on this side, trim it, there we go. So we've got this and this made. We're just going to do some stamping now, one little piece of stamping, and I hope I've got a scrap. There's a scrap, I hope that will do. We've got a stamp out of the stamp set, and it's just a very simple happy birthday. So let's see what we get. Don't want to press that too deep into the stamp because it's quite a wet stamp pad. Oh lovely, happy birthday. Just going to close that because, as I say, it's a very wet stamp pad. Now we've got this two what would you call it, double oval stamp set, stamp punch, double oval punch, punches out two different sizes, one is scalloped and one is straight. We're going to punch out the sentiment using just the straight oval, if I've got enough to hold it. Let me just stick a piece of tape on the end of there so I can hold this in place. Line it up. There. Take my piece of tape off, I can use that again. And then out of the azure piece, we're going to punch a big oval. I'm going to mount this on the oval. A bit of Stampin' Seal again. Nice and straight. There we are. We've got these pieces here now. Now I think this piece we're going to put up on dimensionals just to give it a little lift there. Do I have some dimensionals? Yes. There. these off the backs. There we go. And I think we'll put this just about, maybe just about an inch from, whoops, from the bottom of the card, making sure the card's sitting the right way up. There. I think we'll pop this up on dimensionals. Put that over there. Like that. And then we're going to take the flower. And because the flower is fine, we're going to use some liquid adhesive here. Let's make sure we've got some. And I'm just going to put dabs of glue all over this piece, because it's not going to, because we're putting it on an embossed piece, it's not going to touch everywhere. But if we have lots of little dabs of glue around, it will, it's got to hold somewhere, hasn't it? Hold that out. And I'm just going to take this, tuck it in here. I'm just going to press that down gently, because I don't want any glue to pop out and to spread anywhere. Put the lid on that. And some gems. Where are my gems? Here they are. And these adhesive backed sequins, they come in two sizes. There's a smaller size and a larger size. I'm going to use the smaller size, and I think they'll work just lovely. Just a couple in the middle of the flowers. Oh, they look nice. And then one maybe here, just there. And that's it. Isn't that a lovely little card? Thank you, Susan Campfield. So this was my original, my test piece from this morning. That was made in what is that colour called? Copper clay, and it's beautiful. The copper clay ribbon has a bit of a sheen to it. That's it for this week, everybody. Thanks for watching. I know it was a bit of a rushed video this week, but we've been on vacation and we've had lots of family here and we've been very busy. And if you wish to copy and share, please copy by all means. Just remember, Susan Campfield made the original, but these are mine with a little bit of a twist. Thanks for watching, everybody. See you next week. Bye.